Hello, my name is Jim McGillivray and this is the Pipe Box, your source for all things piping. If you find this video useful, please give it a like, and please subscribe to this YouTube channel to see more videos like this. We're going to go over some music today, and you can print out this music by going back to the description of this video on my YouTube channel. You will see a link to a PDF there. Today I would like to talk to you about how to play the GDE Gracenote pattern in jig time. As you probably learned, the GDE is ubiquitous in our pipe music. We see them in marches, strathspeys, reels, hornpipes, and jigs, and they're all played just a little bit differently in each time signature. For example, on this YouTube channel there is a video on how to play GDEs in reel time. In reels we often hear GDEs with a slight bit of pointing. For example, or we can hear them played dead even. Jigs are a very similar story. In the past, we've heard jigs played very pointed. In modern days, we play them very round. Here you can see a jig from the second book published by John Wilson, the great Edinburgh piper who subsequently immigrated to the Toronto area. As you can see, the tune is written with dots and cuts, much like a 6/8 march. In line 1, you can see lots of GDEs written with the first note held. This book was published in 1957, and up until around this time, or a bit later, jigs were played by most pipers in this pointed fashion. Now let's look at a jig published in Donald MacLeod's book in 1962, 5 years later. Here we see a jig written dead even. There isn't a single dot in the whole tune. You can see all the GDE patterns in the first part written to be played with no pointing. This shows the evolution of jig playing that saw pipers in the middle and latter parts of the 20th century gradually move to a round style of playing jigs that was prevalent in Irish piping. This, of course, included the GDE pattern, which went from this to this. So let's start slowly. Our first exercise is going to be quarter notes and half notes, and the idea in this exercise is to play the GDEs perfectly, evenly, and slowly. No pointing on the first note whatsoever. Don't go quickly, that will come later. Try to make each grace note the same size, no matter which finger it is. Okay, here's our first exercise. Okay, exercises don't come much easier than that one. Let's make it a little more challenging this time. We won't hold the last note in each bar for 2 beats. Every note in exercise 2 will be the same length. This will be like a jig in slow motion. Here's exercise 2. Now we come to exercises written in jig time. Let's have a look at the next exercise, before I play it for you. This is classic 6/8 time, 6/8 notes in each bar. When you tap your foot, you'll tap it twice in each bar, once at the start of each group of 3. There are 2 things I would like you to focus on here. First, of course, is to not point the first note in each group of 3. That's what we've been working on up till this point. Second thing is to not hit that first note in each group of 3 early. Try to hit it as late as possible. We stress the first note in each group of 3 not by holding it, but by making sure it's not even remotely early. We want that G grace note finger to hit the chanter as late as possible without actually missing it. And again, try to make each grace note exactly the same size. Okay, here is exercise 3. Our next exercise is a tune simulation. It follows the pattern of Donald McLeod's jig, The Judge's Dilemma, which we looked at briefly earlier. I'm going to play it for you 3 times. The first time I'm going to play it fairly slowly, so it's more of a technical exercise. The second time I'll play it more quickly, which will make it more of a musical exercise for you. And the third time I will play it at full tempo of 120 beats per minute. Here's the slow version. Now let's try it a little more quickly. And finally, here's exercise 4 at jig tempo. As we're hitting this tempo, one important point to make is be careful that you don't start to crush your GDEs. Put the grace notes too close together like this. Keep the GDEs spread out through the whole beat like this. Okay, here's the exercise at jig tempo. That's the tempo at which a top flight piper would play a jig. If you can't reach that tempo, don't sweat it. Play the tune at a tempo at which you can play technically well and musically well. Be patient with tempo. While you're playing your jig, make sure that you don't point the first note in each group of 3. Make sure you hit the G grace note on the first note in each group of 3 as late as possible. Make sure you don't crush your GDEs, and make sure you make all the grace notes the same size. I have one more jig exercise for you, and that concerns Takums. In jigs, we need to be able to play our GDE pattern when there is a Takum in it, like this. We still need to play the black notes dead even, and we need to play an accurate D grace note from C down to low A or from B down to low G. I have on my YouTube channel a video on playing Takums accurately, and if you have a little bit of trouble with Takums, you may want to look that up. So here is the Takum exercise, played fairly manageably in jig time. You can play this exercise as quickly as you wish or as quickly as you can, as long as you keep control of the GDEs. You can find out more about GDEs in jig time or any other time signature by consulting my Rhythmic Fingerwork technical tutor, which contains 141 exercises of bagpipe light music. It's available from myself or any dealer. That's it for GDEs. Keep control of your GDEs, be patient with them, and work hard to get them right because they are everywhere. Until next time, this is Jim McGillivray at the Pipe Box wishing you good piping.